Hey, welcome back to Right on the Money, the go-to resource for your financial decisions. Now, again, if you're just hopping in, our guest today, Kirt Carstens, owner and president of Carstens Financial. Now, we talked a little bit about market volatility in this crazy year that we've been having. And now let's talk a little bit about the search for yield because, and again, I don't want to put you on the spot because we got to be mindful of everything, but interest rates and yield are pretty low out there. Any advice, anything that you could say to give us some solace?
Well, that's probably the second area that we get the most phone calls on. Somebody will call and say, hey, I've got a CD renewing and it's at 1% or less. What else is out there? And, you look at all of our seniors and retirees that, for years and years and years that just, had CDs and were living off of the interest. And it's not like the late 70s and early 80s where you're in double-digit interest. So we really have to have that conversation about, well, what else is out there? And that really now becomes an educational point. We have to educate our clients about what other sources are there. And if you go away from the bank and you're still looking for guarantees, the only other place you can look at for guarantees is the insurance world. Then you have to talk about timeframes. You have to talk about risk. From there, you move into the securities world. And do you look at mutual funds? Do you look at preferred offerings? Do you look at real estate? And everything comes down to suitability. I mean, it's got to be suitable for the client. We've got to talk about what fees are associated, what compensation is to the rep, timeframes. So it all has to fit into that big picture. But banks, no offense to the banks, they do a great job. There's a specific purpose for bank funds as far as that access and liquidity. But if we are looking for yield right now, we have to look at other alternatives.
There's a pro and a con to everything that exists out there. And one thing that I've always respected about your practice, if I'm not mistaken, you have the ability to really have that conversation about pretty much all the options that would be out there, correct?
Yeah, that comes down to licensing, training, education. And as a fully licensed independent financial advisor, we operate under the fiduciary standards. So we have to do what is best for the client, irregardless of compensation or other factors. And as I mentioned earlier in the first segment, we really look at the big picture. We want to know about everything. We don't necessarily need to handle everything, but we just need to know the client's total situation so that we can find the right piece that will fit.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like it really comes down to communication.
Communication, honesty, and again, the willingness to listen, which we don't find a lot of in the advisory world. But also, there's a lot of trust, that needs to be built up as well. I always tell people, it's your money, it's not mine, so you have to do what you feel is best for you.
We're going to take a quick break, and we are going to talk about long-term care and why it's so doggone important. So we'll see you on the other side of the break.